Hey, what's going on guys? It's your boy Storm here, and welcome back to another Phasmophobia video. So, today we're going to be talking about the top 5 ways that you can make Phasmophobia less scary. So we're going to get started right away with tip number 1. If you're just starting out the game and you're trying to gain experience, and you don't want a very terrifying experience, always play the smaller maps. It's how I got used to the game. It's how a lot of people get used to the game, actually. But obviously, when you first start out, you're going to start out on amateur. Amateur is pretty easy. The times 1 rewards, obviously, it's going to take a while before you get anywhere to the point where you can actually, you know, have higher tier gear and be less scared, obviously, when playing the game. Now you're going to start off with the tier 1 items, and it's going to be the base items. It's going to be the video camera, the UV light, the thermometer, the spirit box, ghostwriting book, flashlight, EMF reader, and dots projector. Tier 1 dots are kind of bad, same with the flashlight, but there is a way you can make the game less scarier, and obviously it's by playing the small maps. Now, when you first load in a small map, and especially if you're by yourself, I know Phasmophobia can be very terrifying when you play the game by yourself. What I suggest is immediately grabbing an EMF reader. And I usually grab EMF, thermometer, and a video camera. Obviously, you're not going to have the tier 3 items right off the bat. You just want to head inside. Obviously, we are on an amateur, so the lights start on, well, the fuse box starts on. Obviously, you want to keep lights on. You want to go through every room with either the thermometer or an EMF reader. And that's a good way to tell where the ghost is right off the bat. And obviously, to make everything easier so you don't have to walk back to the truck 10,000 times, you're going to take all of your evidence items and put them at the front door. Alright, once you have all your evidence items at the front door, just bring them into your room. Obviously, you want to check for your basic evidence. Your main goal in the very beginning is just find evidence as quickly as possible. Small tip that I can leave with you is always leave the lights off when using the spirit box. Alright, and then once you have all 3 evidence, just select your ghost and leave. Obviously, when you're starting out, you won't be wanting to go for the perfect game. You just want to give yourself as much leeway as possible so you don't get that scared. Don't be too worried about getting the ghost right sometimes, because you will get it wrong if it's your first time playing the game, obviously. And that will lead us directly into tip number 2. And when it comes to tip number 2, any room you enter in the house, and while you're searching for the ghost room, or if you found the ghost room, leave the lights on. You want to leave a trail of lights on to the ghost room. Now, since we're going off of the last tip, to not be scared of the game, is small maps can only have the limit of 8 lights before you flip the breaker. So try to find that ghost room as quickly as possible, and if you think you're getting close to your limit, just shut the light off in every room right before you leave it. And a little bonus tip. If you're playing with some friends that are less than savory and like to troll, try to find your cursed object first. When it comes to the cursed possession, a cursed possession can start a cursed hunt if the person is not careful with it. So always look for your cursed possession. This one's the voodoo doll. The voodoo doll will cost 5% sanity for every pin that you pull and 10% for the heart pin. If you push in the heart pin, it will start a cursed hunt. And this will lead us into tip number 3. And that is always, and I mean always, keep an eye on your sanity. What I mean by that is that every ghost has a very specific hunting threshold. Most of the time it's going to be 50%. But for your select few ghosts, such as the demon, the mare, the yokai, the fae, and the banshee, and of course the mimic, they all have higher sanity hunting thresholds. The demon can hunt at 70%, the fae can hunt at 75%, the banshee targets a specific player and will hunt when their specific sanity hits 50%. The yokai has a special ability tied to how much you are talking in the in-game chat, and it can raise its hunting threshold from 50% all the way up to 85%. The mare can hunt at 60% when the lights are off, and the onryo can also hunt at 100% sanity so long as it blows out 3 firelights. The mimic is a special little boy because he or she can mimic the abilities of other ghosts. So it can mimic the Tha's hunting ability at 75% when it is unaged. It can mimic the demon's ability to hunt at any sanity, but its hunting threshold will still be 70%. That's another thing to mention about the demon, is the demon has a special ability to hunt at 100% sanity. The Raiju has an increased hunting threshold of 70, I think. It's either 65 or 70% when it is near electronics. And here we are, we're going to start with another secondary tip. Is once you unlock the crucifix, you're going to want to bring it into the house with you, and you're going to want to place it inside the ghost room. And make sure the coverage covers the entire ghost room, because you don't want to hunt while you're standing inside the ghost room. One of the scariest things that can happen, it can lead to almost immediate death. So you just plop it down right there, and then continue on your merry way. Another pro tip is knowing the difference between a ghost event and a hunt. A ghost event will close all doors to your room, a hunt will not. Another tip when it comes to the crucifix, if you have a small ghost room like I do, just always be sure to place a crucifix outside the ghost room, because the ghost can roam. While you can't see it, you won't be able to see it, but it will be moving around the house. And as I've stated before, always remember to mark your ghost before you hit the keypad on the truck to leave. You don't want to forget that. Trust me, I've done it a few times. And just a quick tip on tip number 4. Try to play with friends. Play with friends that know how to play the game. Or, you know, if you play with a bunch of friends that don't know how to play the game, that's fine too. Just as long as you have somebody there with you to join in on the excitement and the scares. Now, for tip number 5. I cannot stress this enough, and that is to always keep tabs on the ghost and cursed object. And what I mean by keeping tabs on the ghost is while you're in the mat, try to keep motion sensors down so you know where the ghost is at all times. Like, keep an EMF reader on you just in case it's a phantom or a wraith. Now, a phantom and a wraith have an ability that will take them to you pretty much. The phantom will wander to you, and when it gets to you, it will drop EMF 2 at your location. The wraith can teleport to you and drop EMF 2 at the location that it teleports to you at. Now keep in mind this, they can hunt from that location, and it can lead to almost instantaneous death. So what I suggest is Once you have all your equipment set up, make sure you have motion sensors in the room at all times. That way you know where the ghost is, or keep a motion sensor by you. And here's your example of keeping tabs on the ghost. You just place a motion sensor down, and this will help you keep tabs on the ghost while it's in the ghost room. Now what I always do is I'll take a motion sensor and I'll place it right outside, keep it close to the room, that way you know whenever the ghost leaves the room. That way you will always know whether the ghost is in or out of the room. Because again, the ghost will roam when you are playing the match. So the ghost will not always be in the ghost room, it will still be the ghost's favorite room. But the ghost can say, let's say it's in here, it can wander all the way to out here. And if it starts a hunt while it's standing out here, it can and will kill you. Now we're going to come into our honorable mention, and that's always keep note of your hiding spots. When you first load into the game, a set number of hiding spots will be available to you. When you're on amateur, all the hiding spots are open, so just keep note of where your hiding spot locations are. I'm showing you the ones for Tanglewood right now, so that way you know for future reference that these are your hiding spots when you load into the map. And now we're going to get into another honorable mention, and that is going to be hunts. Hunts in Phasmophobia are by far the most terrifying of anything you can encounter. It's mainly the reason Phasmophobia is so scary. This is why I say keep track of your cursed possession. Always, when you spawn into the map, you always want to look for it. Because 95% of the time your cursed objects are what your friends are going to try to kill you with. I can't make this up. A second time in the video, I've gotten the voodoo doll. Well, since she doesn't want to hunt, when it comes to looping, you just want to hug the edge of the counter. This is the looping spot for Tanglewood. You want to just hug this edge, keep an eye on the ghost at all times. Make sure you're keeping ahead of it. You want to be rounding this corner when the ghost is rounding this corner. And that way at all times, you'll be keeping ahead of the ghost. If you need to sprint, try not to use all of your sprint, and just round the corner. And again, just be sure to circle your ghost before you leave the map. Alright guys, and that's going to be it for the video. I'm going to have to ask you to like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, let me know if any of this helped you in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one.